Homework time! Once again, homework time is here again. Let's start off this Lesson 7 homework of Module 3, dealing with some multiplication here by jotting our names at the top of our papers. Here's the deal. I'll put my name, you put yours. Fair enough? Great. And then let's take a moment to put today's date. I will write today. You write the actual date, where and when you are. And let's read our instructions for number 1. We are to represent the following expressions, meaning in this case, like for example, 3 times 24, that's what they mean by the following expressions, with dis on the place value chart, right, drawing little circles, regrouping as necessary, writing a matching expression, meaning we're going to write out the multiplication, and recording the partial products vertically, so writing it out up and down. For example, in this first one has 24 times 3 vertically. So let's do that. And by the way, this is actually kind of a surprisingly quick and easy homework here, you'll find, but I'm going to have to go with certain assumptions, that you know your multiplication facts, that you can do multiplication like 3 times 20 pretty easily in your head, and that you understand the regrouping. I'm going to have to go with those assumptions, otherwise this will be a 2-hour long homework if we have to dissect every multiplication. So if you are having any difficulty with those things, you'll have to go back a few lessons and work on that, or talk with your teacher about how you can work on those things. So in this first one, we have 3 times 24. So we will draw out 24 on our place value chart with dis. There's 2 10s and 1, 2, 3, 4 ones. And we're doing 3 times, so there's 1 there. So here's another set of 2 10s and a third set of 2 10s. So there's the 3 times 20. And now here's the 3 times 4. We have 4, so we'll do another set of 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then a third set of 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's like we're doing exercise. All right, and now we need to regroup as necessary. And we see we have 12 ones here, and that 10 of them need to be regrouped as a 10. We're not multiplying right here, we're just regrouping. We're saying, hey, we have 10 ones, that's 1 10. Okay, so now what do we have? There's no more regrouping we could do, right? We only have 7 10s, all right? So we have 7 10s and 2 1s. So our number is 72. Now to do it out vertically using the standard algorithm and partial products, we'd say 24 times 3. And we do it in, because we have 2 digits here, we do it in 2 simple steps, the multiplication. We do 3 times 4, because the value of that 4 is 4, right? So it's just straight 3 times 4, is 12. And note, by the way, that I am aligning my places. I put the 2 of the 12 in the 1's place, the 1 of the 12 goes in the 10's place. That's important, we will see. Now here, the value of this 2 is not 2. All right, it's in the 10's place. Its value is 20. So what is 3 times 20? Well, we learned, I'll do this just once here. We learned in our last lesson that we can think of 3 times 20. We can do that as, using the distributive property, we can think of it as 3 times 2 times 10, right? And this is what we'll be doing in each one of these, but we're going to be doing it in our heads, not writing it out every time. And so this is what allows us to do in our heads, that we could say, oh yeah, 3 times 2 is 6, and then multiplying that by 10 is 60. Okay, so when you look at 3 times 20, this brrr is what happens in your head, and you get to the product of 60. Okay, so 60 it is. And notice again, I line up my place value of all my 10s and 1s. It's important. So now if I put these 2 partial products together, they're each part of the final product. I put them together, I add them. 2 and 0 is 2, 1 and 6 are 7. Avast! I get the same 72 that I got doing it in the place value chart. Let's go on to 1B and C. And now in B, we're doing the same thing, just different numbers. 3 times 42, so same idea. So we're going to draw out our 42. 1, 2, 3, 4 tens and 2 ones. And then do it 3 times. So we already have one row of 4 tens. We'll do another row of 4 tens. 1, 2, 3, 4. And a third row because we're doing 3 times 42. 1, 2, 3, 4. And same thing for the ones. Those 2 ones are going to be multiplied by 3. So 1, 2, and a third row, 1, 2. Okay, now when I look in the ones place, there's no regrouping necessary. I do not have 10. However, in the tens place, yes, there are now 12 tens. Same as we did, right, in the last one, just the digits are reversed. So I'm going to take 10 tens, which I know is equal to 100. There it is. And done regrouping, right? So I'm left with 100, 2 tens, and 6 ones. My answer is 126. And now I'll do it vertically with partial products. So 42 times 3. So first I'm doing 3 times 2. The value of that 2 is 2, right? So it's 6. And now I'm doing 3 times, yes, 40. Because the value of that 4 is 40. And again, I'm going to do 3 times 4 is 12 times 10 is 120, 120. So 120. And notice I am lining up place values here because I know I have to add these partial products. And indeed I get pretty easy addition there, right? 126 matches what I got doing it with place value. Boom it up. Let's go on to letter C. So we have 3 tens here, 34, right? 1, 2, and 3. And then 4 ones. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now I'm multiplying it by 4, so I need to have 4 rows of each of these. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Great. And same thing for the ones. I need 4 rows. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. Now I'm going to start in the ones place to do my regrouping. I see very easily here. I can pick out 10. There they are. Now it doesn't matter which 10 you pick out, but this makes sense to me, kind of going left to right. So there's 10, right? And these 10 ones are equal to 110. And that leaves 6 ones, so I can't regroup any further. Looking in the tens place, 3, 6, 9, and 10. Yeah, I can do some regrouping here as well. So there are 10 tens, which I know to be equal to 100. That just leaves 3 tens, so I'm all set there. I'm going to write my values. I have 100, 3 tens, and yep, 6 ones, so I get 136. Let's see if I get the same thing doing partial products. Or did we mess up? Okay, so 34 times 4. The value of each of these 4 is 4 in the ones place. So 4 times 4 is 16. And note that I'm lining up my place values. The 3. Think about the 3. It's in the tens place. Its value is 30. So it's going to be 4 times 30. And we know we do that. Partial products, using the distributive property as we did up above, where we did 3 times 40, same idea. It's going to be 3 times 4 times 10. 3 times 4 is 12, times 10 is 120. And so I'll write 120, lining up my place values. Put these 2 partial products together, add them. 6 and 0 is 6. 1 and 2 is 3. And then 136, same thing I got over here. Beauteous! Let's go on to number 2, rocking and rolling here. And we see even though it's sectioned off as number 2, it's more of the same. So let's dive right in. Here we have 4 times 27. Now we have a slightly larger digit here with that 7, so we'll have to make sure we draw those out carefully. So I have 2 10s in 27, okay, which I'll be multiplying by 4. And then with the 1s, let me draw out 7. I like to do it this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row, and then reset for the 6, 7, okay? And now let me multiply these by 4. So I have to do another set of 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and a third set of 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and yes, a fourth set of 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Great. And now same thing in the tens place. I'm going to do it 4 times. So I have 2 there already. Here's a second set of 2, and a third set of 2, and a fourth set of 2. So the 20 times 4. Now when I go to regroup, here's how I'd like to do it. I look at this and I see, oh, here's 5. And here's 5, and 5 and 5 are 10. Join those together. That's 1 more 10. And again, here's 5, and 5 make 10. 10 ones is equal to 110. You could do it other ways. You could say this is 7 and then go for the next 3 and try to circle it that way. I just find it's simpler in this case since we have sets of 5 to group them that way. Same thing. Now look at the tens place. We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 with the what we've brought over. That's why we start in the ones place, by the way. So there is 10 tens, which we know is now equal to 100. So we look at what is left in each place. We now have 100, 0 tens, and 2, 4, 6, 8 ones. So we get the number 108. Let's see if we get the same thing doing it vertically with partial products. 27 times 4. Again, I assume you know your multiplication facts. That 4 times 7 is 28. Very good. And now I'm looking at 4 times 20. Yes, the value of that 2 in the 10th place is 20. 4 times 20, which we do as 4 times 2 times 10. 4 times 2 is 8 times 10 is 80. Beauteous. And lining up my place values because I know I'll be adding here. They need to be aligned properly. 8 and 0 are 8. 2 and 8 are 10. And lo and behold, the same thing, the 108 that I got doing it with the place value disk. Let's slide on over to 2B. And here in 2B, we are doing 5 times 42. Same idea here, all right. So we have 4 10s in 42. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, there's a third set. 1, 2, a fourth set, and 1, 2, a fifth set. Now we look at our 4 10s. Same thing we're going to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a third set. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and a fourth set. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and lastly a fifth set. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Starting in the ones place, see if we can do any regrouping. We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yes, all of those ones. 10 ones equals 110. Put it right there. Squeeze it in the bottom. And then see what we can regroup in the tens place. There's 4, 8, 9, 10. So there are 10 tens. We know 10 tens are equal to 100. And then again, look, there's 8 and 2 makes 10. They fit together like Tetris blocks. Remember Tetris? Yeah, old school. All right. That's another 100, and that just leaves 110 there. So we're left with 2 hundreds, 110, and 0 ones after we have regrouped. So let's do this out as partial products vertically. We have 42 times 5, and 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times, did you say 4? It's 40, right? It's in the tens place. 5 times 40. Well, you do 5 times 4 times 10. So 5 times 4 is 20 times 10, 200. Okay. Now, if you made a mistake, and we add them together, we get the same 210, right? That's easy to see. If you made a mistake and you put 20 as your answer here, or 2,000, first of all, it wouldn't match your disk, but even if you weren't doing the disk and didn't have that as a check, you would still look at this and be like, how could I end up with, like if you put 20, you'd end up with 30 as your final product. How could you multiply 42 by a whole number and get less than 42? Or if you ended up with 2010, that should strike you as being a little too large. So as you do more of this, you'll kind of get that spider sense tingling. You'll know when you're off. And of course, a good old-fashioned estimate will help as well. Can you believe it? We just have one left to do. Let's go hit number 3. Float on to number 3. Here we go. We get a little word problem of sorts. So Cindy, whoever she is, says she found a shortcut for doing multiplication problems. Oh, you know there's trouble afoot when Cindy is finding shortcuts. When she multiplies 3 times 24, she says 3 times 4 is 12 ones, or 1 10 and 2 ones. Good so far, right? 3 times 4 is 12, which is 1 10 and 2 ones. We'll stop and think about that, all right? Then, quoth Cindy, there's just 2 10s left in 24. Whoa, all right, that's so. So add it up. So add it up, Cindy. And you get 3 10s and 2 ones. Do you think Cindy's shortcut works? Obviously, I'm skeptical. Explain your thinking in words and, so we have to do both, justify your response using a model, or partial products. Well, let's do that. I think we can find her problem pretty simply here. She says there's just 2 10s left in 24, so add it up. What did she skip doing with those 2 10s and 24? Well, she did 3 times 4. Did she do 3 times the 2 10s? No, she just skipped that and said 2 10s, will add that in. That is not the partial product because it's not a product, it's a factor. She did not multiply. Okay, so her shortcut does not work. And let's just, for our statement here in words, we'll just say why. Cindy failed. Failure, Cindy. But what did she fail to do? She failed to multiply the 2 10s by 3. And we could actually, to justify it using a model, we could actually do 2 models. We could do the Cindy model. The utter failure. And then we could do the correct model. Okay, so what Cindy did, she was doing 24 times 3. And she said, okay, 3 times 4 is 12. And she didn't do the 3 times 20. She just wrote down 20 and got 32. 3 10s, 2 1s, right? Okay, but we know that's wrong. So we're going to write wrong. She didn't multiply there. And the correct model here, and doing it out this way shows that you really understand what she did wrong. And Cindy's mistake, by the way, is the most common one after perhaps multiplying just 3 times 2 and getting 6, as opposed to 3 times 20 and getting 60. So the correct model, of course, is to do the 3 times 4, yes, is 12, which Cindy got, but it is 3 times 20 is 60. And we did this earlier, right? And so that's why we get 72 as our product. All right, here we can even be funny and write that this is right. Very good. We explained our thinking in words. We justified our response using partial products. We could have done 1 or 2 place value charts as well, but I like this better. Can you believe it? Homework time is over. Nice job. So I'll see you again next time. It is homework time.